Drummers I Like podcast, episode number 9. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Drummers I Like podcast. My name's Richard. I'm your host. I'm coming in from Los Angeles. I got my co-host Kevin on the other line coming in from Florida. What's up, Kevin?
What's up, Richard? How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing freaking good, man. It's been a while since we've been on, guys. Sorry, we're really trying to string things together here to get a really good show to you, and we've been hiring new members. We've been putting together a ton of new content, really getting things going over here on the Drummers I Like train. So we're excited to finally get another episode out to you and kind of give you guys an update on what's going on. But what I want to point out first is if you could just go to drummersilike.net. On our sidebar, we got some links to subscribe to the podcast. Now, many of you may be finding us through iTunes or through the Play Store, but we are now officially on the Play Store and not just within other apps that you could use to find our podcast. So you can find us on the Play Store. You can find us in iTunes. You can also find us on Stitcher. And if that's not good enough, just go ahead to the link below that for our RSS feed. Click that, and whatever podcast app that's standard on your phone, it will go ahead and open up in that app and subscribe you right onto the show. And after you listen to the show, I need you to go over back to that sidebar, or if you are savvy enough to kind of navigate within your own podcast app, go ahead and leave us a review. We're trying to get some reviews here, try to learn a little bit more about what our viewers and listeners want to hear, and of course try to help build the best show possible, and of course build some new ideas, put together some great stuff over here at drummersilike.com/.net. So with that being said, go ahead, follow all those cool little steps I told you about, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the show. Kevin, what's going on this week, man? Fill me in. I've had my head in the freaking books, working SEO and websites and stuff.
Well, I definitely get where you're coming from, man. I've been busy with the usual 9 to 5, and of course been putting in a lot of time into Drummers I Like, trying to build that content and
Fuck yeah, you have.
just keep everything going. And the team's been really working out well, and Zach and Tyler have been just kicking ass, and that's what so we're just trying to get the best kind of show and drummer kind of platform out there to you guys, and it's definitely a lot of hard work, but
Yeah, man. I totally spaced on that, and sorry, guys, but I'll have Kevin go ahead and introduce our newest member.
oh yes, that's right, we got Zach Diaz. He's been doing great. I mean, he's really hit the ground running, and he's really keeping us on our toes, which is definitely what we need to be able to keep going, and takes a load off for, as everybody knows out there, Richard and I have pretty busy lives in and of themselves. So to have a little bit of help just makes it so we can get that stuff out there to you guys, and we're super thankful for what they're doing. It's really helping us a lot.
You know what it reminds me of? I'm not sure if you're familiar with It's Always Sunny, but there's a really freaking hilarious episode where the business is failing, and if you follow the series, you know that the character Frank is like this freaking millionaire gone, total fringe. Anyways, they do this episode where this business calls him. They call him, and his nickname is the Wolf, and he goes and like saves all these businesses that are failing and starts making them money. I kind of feel like Zach's the Wolf right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. I could definitely take that. Definitely take that.
Not that we're failing or not doing good in any way, but like Kevin said, we got our hands tied, and sometimes we need someone that can kind of take Kevin and I's big picture ideas and thoughts and get them going so that we can help keep them together. So thanks, Zach, and big thanks to Tyler, too. You're a big help, buddy. We appreciate all the work you've been doing. Tyler's still on the team, guys, just in case you were wondering, and he's kicking ass on social media. If you see some responses, it's probably Tyler, so give him a shout-out, say what's up.
I don't think they were wondering. I mean, he just posted a video on our Instagram. I think yesterday he posted the jam video of him shredding up some stuff. So definitely check him out, and go give him a like. He's a great drummer.
He's nasty. That video's sick. Oops, I forgot I posted that.
See. Well, that's why you have a co-host, Richard. See, that's why I'm here.
See, I need you guys because my freaking business is taking all my time away from me, and I want my favorite business drummers I like to flourish like a beautiful butterfly.
So this week I've been compiling some stuff that has been some interesting things, I think, going on in the drum community here recently, and I know I'm gonna kind of kick it off, and it's gonna be funny because because Richard and I were kind of talking a little bit before the show that this may happen, but Gary Husband, for those of you guys who are maybe a little bit older or more into jazz fusiony kind of stuff, or really like Alan Holdsworth, or a number of different awesome musicians that Gary's played with, he is a brilliant drummer, and I kind of saw him from some of his work with Alan Holdsworth. For those of you guys who know, the guitar virtuoso, and he reminded me a lot of Vinny, a lot of Vinny. At one point, I remember listening to some of Alan Holdsworth's stuff that my dad was exposing me to at the time, and I knew that Vinny had played on quite a bit of Alan's stuff, and I'm listening to it and I'm like, man, Vinny is shredding that, and that's not Vinny, it's Gary Husband. And it's just like, oh, who's this guy? And it's just he's super talented. And another thing I really like about Gary is a pianist as well as a drummer, and I think that gives him a pretty unique look on how he approaches and really plays for the song, and his playing is very unique. But he's working with a new project, Sphere, and it's pretty interesting. We'll have a link for a short YouTube video that I found, and it's Sphere is basically headed up by I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Antoine Fafard, and he's a bass player, and he's put together this group, and he's got Gary playing on it, and it sounds almost kind of Holdsworthy to me, but it kind of it splices in and out about them making the project and kind of talking about their intricacies, but it's really interesting. And if you go to about the 8-minute and 50-second mark, there's a good section there where he's kind of getting a little crazier, and the whole video has splices of him playing and some of the other guys in the group, and just all of them talking, and it's really worth checking out. For those of you who, like I said, do know who Gary Husband is, you'll enjoy it thoroughly. And for those of you who don't know, you have to go out and check this out. I mean, he's brilliant. One thing that always stood out in my mind is I was hearing him talk one day, and it was in kind of an interview kind of setting, and he was talking about how when other drummers talk about playing melodically, and he's a pianist, so he has a pretty good idea about how melodies and rhythms kind of play hand in hand. And and he says it always baffles me because the drums are a rhythm instrument. They are strictly rhythmic instruments. And he said when people say, well, how do you look at drums melodically? And he says, I don't, because you can't, because they're not a melodic instrument. They're a rhythmic instrument. So I always thought that was kind of an interesting outlook, and definitely check him out. He's a good dude and a great player. Great player.
Yeah. My ass doesn't know who he is.
See, that's what I'm saying. And these, some of you younger guys out there are like, Gary Husband, never heard of this guy. It was kind of like when me, you, and Zach were chatting the other night, and he brought up Will Kennedy doing something with Snarky Puppy, I think. And I said, oh yeah, it's over the Yellow Jackets, and he goes, oh, the Yellow Jackets, you must be old. And it's like, oh, come on, come on now. You got to respect those guys. Not that much older. No matter how old those guys are, what they play, you got to listen and you got to respect them, because they are generally unreal. So definitely something worth checking out.
Yeah, man, it's funny too, and just I want to point out, by the way, we just put a new post up over at Drummers I Like. Kevin wrote a nice article on the science of drumming, kind of breaking down all these weird articles that are going around the internet over the last few, maybe months to a year or so, talking about how drummers are the smartest or whatever.
Well, I kind of took the approach, really. I mean, I don't want to give too much away. You guys, read and let us know what your take is on it. But, it's kind of taken how, there's a lot of those type of articles out there, but I don't think we need to be, as drummers, focused on, all the science about what's happening in our brain. I think we just need to focus on sitting down and practicing, and how anybody can do that. And we're all born with an innate ability to play drums. And that's what that, there's a video on there, and it kind of ends with that same kind of idea that, all of us have it, and it doesn't matter, if you've never played drums before in your life, you have this innate ability. It's built into us.
Right.
So you know what I mean.
Man, that
And
touched. Yeah.
anybody can really do it if as long as you work hard enough. That's the thing. It depends on your discipline.
It
So
really, yeah, that man. Just after reading it, really touched home base with me because
well, sure.
you know my background.
Yeah.
I pretty much have that
I
exact
even
had
mentioned
that
you, I
exact
think.
approach. Yeah, you mentioned you mentioned Everett. I remember you
So
mentioned that.
there's that.
Well, yeah, you know, it is. You know, for me, I really, like I said, we had talked about a while back. I didn't start playing until I was a lot older, and I feel like I progressed quicker than I've seen people who've been playing a lot of their lives. And it's not because I was essentially better or I was better or knew it better. I just didn't stop playing. I was playing 10 hours a day, 5 hours a day, whatever. So you know, I think there's a lot of validity to that, and I can definitely put a stamp of approval on it. So go check that freaking article out, man. It's awesome. It's nice to get some fresh stuff out there, especially from Kevin's crazy mind.
I don't know how crazy it is, but you know, it's crazy enough to come up with these articles. That's good. I just need to, I'll try and keep that train coming for you guys.
Good
That's
crazy.
one of my babies, right? So in some other news, something that I saw that I thought at least that was worth mentioning, especially for us more metal oriented guys out there. But I Dick Verburen is been announced as the new official drummer of Megadeth because they were touring. They were using Chris Adler from Lamb of God, and it was always kind of put out there that Chris was just kind of filling in and until they found a more permanent drummer. And of course, it seems like Megadeth has been in the news for drummers, both for good reasons and bad reasons. They lost Nick Menza not that long ago, and he was a former drummer of theirs, so they've been in the news a lot here lately for drum stuff. But hopefully, this is
Yes.
something that'll stick with them. But it's kind of funny because I'm not a Megadeth fan. I'm a metal guy, but I have never been a Megadeth fan, and it all really stems from Dave Mustaine. I cannot stand the man, but
Why?
I can't. He's so I don't know. He's just seems his ego is so just ginormous, and I just cannot handle it. I was watching when Dimebag Darrell got killed. I was watching a MTV. I think did like the tribute for him right after it happened, where they played a bunch of their videos and talked to guys, and I was there with another friend of mine that I played in metal bands with, and we were all heartbroken watching this thing. We were just super bummed, and it's like the whole time it's just like all he talked about was just like me when I was with, and then it reminds me of the time and it was like, dude, this is not about you, bro. This is all about Dime, and it just that and just from some of his statements and just the way he presents himself, I've just never cared for him. So
I hear
it's
you.
made me not really appreciate the band and probably given them as much of a chance as I should have. But hey, we all have our faults, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm not really a fan of Megadeth. It's just not really.
Well,
Not that
I
I
think
don't
you're really young.
appreciate it. It's
Yeah,
yeah. It's not that I don't appreciate it. It's just yeah. Maybe it's my age. Maybe it's my age, or probably just my age. But I'm just not into Megadeth. I'm not. And you know what? Growing up, I had this when I was in elementary school. I knew this kid Casey Garcia. And he was like into Megadeth and Metallica and all these hair metal bands that were like pretty popular at the time. But
sure.
I tried so hard. I like lied my face off that I enjoyed it. But I just really couldn't get into it, man. Not
Yeah.
that
Well, you should go back probably now and take a listen to at least the drumming because sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's a lot of when you listen to, especially when you get too into like glammy kind of hair metal, and then the drums are really simple. There wasn't a lot to it. They were just holding it down, meat and potatoes, really.
I also
But
don't.
yeah,
Yeah, I also don't think there's such a. But drums are crazy because people are competitive, so they just keep doing crazier stuff to try to beat each other out. And then
right.
as the craziness grows, the prior crazy drumming starts to kind of become like a standard. Like you better have those chops or you suck. So I can see why it is the way it is now, but I really do appreciate that kind of playing. I think everybody should go back and at least listen for the drumming because
Well, it's
Nick Menza was awesome. He was an awesome drummer.
yeah, well, I mean, any Megadeth I'd say has been more on the metal side than to the glam side,
Of course, of course.
but yeah, I mean, and Nick's a solid drummer, that's for sure. So it was a sad loss, that's for sure. Nobody liked hearing about it. Everybody had great praise for him, and that was good to hear.
I can't believe it happened right down the road from me. That's so wild.
You know? You're living in in the area with all the people. So
right down the road from
definitely wasn't going to
Menza.
happen in Vero Beach. I can tell you that.
I was in freaking at that Thrice concert when all that craziness was going down in Orlando. Man, I just weird world, weird things happening.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you can't count out a small town. You never know what can happen. But
Absolutely, you're right. You're right. You cannot. I can't believe where I live that things just don't happen more often. I thank my lucky stars every day, but you know,
true story. Keep your
keep
fingers crossed.
keep
Knock on wood.
keep them eyes peeled before they take you.
So that was my topic with that. I think we covered that pretty well. But moving on to some other things. Sabian has announced that they're doing a clinic tour with Stanton Moore and Jeff Hamilton, famous and legendary jazz drummer. For maybe some of those guys that are out there that aren't into jazz and don't know Jeff, he's a brilliant jazz drummer. And it's going to be pretty interesting. They've released this Crescent line of cymbals, and Stanton Moore has his own line. The line, I'd say, probably would be a little bit more versatile across genres. But Hamilton's setup is they're called the hammer tones, and they're jazz cymbals. That's his forte, and they definitely fit the part. So, but you never know. We've been seeing jazzy type cymbals show up in some interesting spots here lately for people getting some different sounds. So
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody will be using them, outside of their intended usage, but it's pretty cool. They got that going on. They're going to be at select. Let me see. I know they're only going to be at select dealers, I believe. I think it's going to be kind of an exclusive deal. Let me see. Where did I put it? I was just looking at it too. See, that's what always happens when you have all your stuff together right in front of you, right?
Always happens to me.
Then you can't find it. Let's see. Yep, just a full list of hand select dealers is available at Sabian.com. So check out their site. Check out what they're doing. They're doing some pretty cool stuff. Looks like, yeah, each one of them only has maybe six to eight stops they're going to be making on the tour. So if you're close to one of those places, definitely check it out. Check out Stanton or Jeff. They're both unbelievably awesome drummers.
LA dates?
What was that?
Are you near the? I gotta pull.
I'm
those
looking
dates
at.
up.
I'm looking at it.
See what's going on in LA.
I don't know if anything's coming there. They got Maine, Mass, MD. Looks like Stanton Moore stuff is kind of East Coast, New York City, New Hampshire, Missouri, Wisconsin, Indiana.
No.
And it looks like Hamilton's. Oh wait, Hamilton's going to be in Hollywood. Yes, he is. Jeff Hamilton's going to be at Professional Drum Shop in Hollywood, California, August 16th. What do you think? You going to make a trip to Hollywood?
Yeah, it's pretty close to me. It's
Should.
like 25 minutes.
You would
drive.
enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Dude, Stanton's one of my favorite drummers. I'm gonna go out and watch him.
No. That's not a Stanton show. That's a Jeff Hamilton show. That's a Hamilton tour date.
All right, I'll go.
Oh, don't even you say it like that. Listen, I'll go.
I'm just
You
kidding.
better.
I would love to go actually. And maybe
You'll probably come back and you'll be like, "Oh my God, Jeff Hamilton, mind blown."
For all our fans out there, I'm not trying to sound like I don't want to go. I promise I would love to go. It's probably gonna be awesome. I'll definitely make it out, and we'll even get the cameras going. I'll see if Zach can accompany me and make something really cool about it. Speaking of going places, August 7th, we're gonna be at the Vans Warped Tour at Pomona. Me and Zach, we're gonna be running around with cameras. We filming Steve, Sam, all the people you've heard on Drummers I Like if they're on the tour. We're gonna be hanging out, doing some videos, of course, running around, annoying everybody as we can. So if you see me or Zach, if you know us by face, come approach us. We got stickers. We'll be handing out stickers. We'll love to talk. We'll tell you about Drummers I'd Like. Sign you up on the website. Whatever we got to do to help you learn a little bit about the crew and what we're doing over at Drummers I Like. So yeah, that's that. Kevin, please proceed with the news.
I think. Let's see. What do we got to talk about? What have we got to talk about? Oh, I did come across an interesting Rockfeed article. It was at rockfeed.net. And the headline for it is "Bands don't fall into the trap of counting on your friends to support you." And At first, I kind of went into it thinking, okay, this has got to be like a satire article, and I by the end of the article, I kind of get where the guy's coming from, you know, especially if you're playing, you know, maybe a more of a niche genre like an extreme metal or heavy stuff, maybe where there's no vocals. I mean, it's not appealing to absolutely everybody, and I can see where it kind of just says, you know, don't expect all of your friends and all of your family just to be like, oh hey, you know, we really like your stuff, because maybe they won't really like your stuff, but that's
My
okay.
parents didn't like my stuff.
You know, but that's okay, and it's just saying, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Because you know, you need to play to your fan base. It's kind of it just kind of reaffirms that, you know, it's all right if you know, if your dad doesn't want to come to every gig, or if a couple of your best friends who are just not the type of people that would be into that don't want to come. You know what I mean? So I kind of get it, but you know, I can see where it also probably rub people the wrong way. But then again, everything does in 2016. So
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, everyone's pissed off about something nowadays.
so definitely give the article a look. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. Definitely.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth a read.
Yeah,
Worth it.
man.
You know, really, as far as a lot of stuff, it's, you know, it's pretty quiet this week to find stuff. I mean, just plus I've had we've had our noses down so hard just game planning and trying to build everything that we've been busy guys. But we promise we're going to get onto the regular podcast schedule for us and start getting these out once a week, no matter what. So
Yes.
now that we got that help, and we can kind of focus on making sure we build these shows and book these guests, that's what we're going to be doing. So
Yep, it just takes a
we're
good
excited.
team. Just takes a good team, man. I think that we finally have a pretty solid group of heads that wants to see this project really flourish. And at least from my understanding, I think that things are going to be progressing very nicely. So yeah,
Definitely.
thanks, man. Thanks for all your hard work over this last week and a half. Same to Zach, man. It's just been nice having that fire under our rears.
Zach, Tyler, you, I mean, everybody's been
Pumping.
putting in time. There's definitely been a little bit of sleep deprivation in this last week, but
Yep.
I'm just excited because as soon as we get off here, I'm gonna go down to the warehouse where our practice facility there, and break down my drum set and go and play a show tonight. So,
Lucky.
well, you know, it's what we do when we play in a band, Richard. It's what we do.
You know what? Actually, I'm kind of hoping that after this finishes, your phone is screaming Star Wars right now.
Yeah, I shut up. Sorry about that. Yeah, I like Star Wars, so.
It's all good. I'm actually kind of hoping that when we wrap this up, that my wife's currently at Target with my son, and I think they're gonna go hit the Bonds after that. But that might leave me a little bit of time to kind of mess around with the electronic kit for a little bit. I haven't gotten to play for like 2 weeks, man. It'd be nice to catch up.
Oh, dude, 2 weeks. That's like, I'm pretty sure, like, don't you go through withdrawals? Like, have you been shaking uncontrollably or anything like that?
I'm sick. I got this weird rash. I just don't know.
Well, maybe that's going too far. I don't need to hear about all your weird rashes, but
Well, the doctor
get back on
said
the
it
kit. Get on the kit tonight. I'm gonna do the
trauma
same. I'm gonna get on the kit, and we're playing with some cool guys. So I'll hopefully be grabbing some maybe grab some Instagram videos or something. So be on the
playing
lookout.
with? Do
Well,
some
of
shout
course, by the
outs. Who
time
you
you hear
playing
this
with?
podcast, they'll already be out.
Yeah.
But
Who are you
but,
playing
yeah.
with? Do some shout outs. Who's playing?
Who do we got tonight? It's going to be KTM, which is I'm good friends with their drummer Jamie Lee, who is awesome. Check him out. I think you can find him on Instagram for sure. I don't know all his handles right now, but he's a great drummer, great local guy here in the Indian River, St. Lucie County kind of area. So
Yeah.
good stuff. And that's KTM, and that's short for Kill the Mic. And then we've got
Heavy.
the Pub Wreckers. They're gonna be good. They're a little bit more punk rockish, but Jimmy Dean, their guitar player, I've known him for many years. We used to hang out with all those guys when I played in a thrash metal band years ago. That was a lot of fun. So it'll be good to see Jimmy as usual. I'm trying to think. There's going to be, of course, us. We're Sharptooth. And the Inverted is going to be there, and then I think Modine, which might just be kind of a in between kind of an act, just kind of keeping the night going while setup's happening. So it's going to be an interesting night. I think it's going to be good turnout, and it's always fun. It's pretty close to home for me. I think it's only going to probably take us 15-20 minutes to drive over there. So that's always nice too, and I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna we're gonna hit it hard like we always do.
Yeah. Sorry. I was moving a screen. I was moving a
Were you
screen over.
zoning me out over
Yeah,
there?
no. I have for the people listening. I have two monitors in front of me, and if you ever use two monitors, sometimes one will click out, and all your boxes and stuff will go all over the place. My one screen went out, and I have this part where it's like recording the podcast, my Logic screen, all that, just like blah, blew up in my face. I was fixing it real quick.
Oh, okay, I got you. You had a technical emergency over there, but
Right,
either way,
tech.
they'll be able to hear what I said, so that's what's important.
Yeah, and
But
I was gonna mention it kind of blows my mind, and this might start a new tangent, and I apologize, but the evolution of band names and the fact that I never hear a repeating band name, it just blows my mind. People are just coming up with so much stuff.
yeah, but it seems like when you're looking for band names, you always find out that there's like, oh, there's two others.
That's right. That's right. Remember that band Sky Eats Airplane?
Yeah.
I used to love that name so much, and I was like 18 when they were really big, and I was working at the Sprint store, and they were playing a show. Remember they played that Fort Pierce show?
Yeah, I do remember that actually. That was a long time ago.
Well, I was all like fanboy, and I got them to stay the night at my house that night, and they came and like saw me at work when I was working at the mall because they were getting food, and all my coworkers were like super bro type kind of guys. They listen to like rap and pop music, stuff like that. They don't listen to anything, but when they're like, "What's the name of that band?" I told them, and they came up with this name, and for a while I ran with it. It was Manny's Hot Dog.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yep. And that's
There's
like,
some pretty bad connotations there, so.
oh, I know. I ran with it and made some pretty crazy grindcore metal. It was pretty fun.
Oh, that's pretty fun though. I like that. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Remember that band Us for Shotgun? It was those days.
Okay. I got you. I got you. Well, on that note, I think it's about time. I just want to remind everybody, just like Richard said at the beginning of the show, click on those sidebars on our site, subscribe, leave us reviews. Reviews are important. It's going to help everybody. It's going to help drummers find us. It's going to help us know what we need to do to, do better for all of our drummer fan listeners out there. Let us know who you are. Reach out to us. We want to see. We have our Instagram little kind of promotion going on right now. We want to see your videos. We want to see them every week. So we're going to be posting videos of you guys as you send them to us. So send us your best stuff. We're going to fish through them, and we're going to be reposting for you guys. So make sure you hit that up. Make sure you leave us reviews. Make sure that Richard goes and listens to Jeff Hamilton, because it'll be a life-changing experience for a man who doesn't appreciate jazz nearly enough.
I'll do it. I'll go. I will go.
All right, and that's all I got.
Cool, man. Yeah, and just to reiterate on the whole review thing, go give the reviews. It would be really important. It's really important to us. And I'm just gonna drop a little small hint of upcoming previews. I don't know if by the time you hear this, the promotion will be out, but if you go ahead and leave a review, you send us a screenshot of that review on any social network, mainly Twitter and Instagram, because it's the easiest to keep track of. We'll go ahead and send you a nice little Drummers I Like sticker pack, and we're gonna go ahead and read through those reviews every week, and our favorite reviews we're gonna go ahead and shout out here on the podcast. So get those reviews in. It can be pretty lucrative. Some pretty cool Drummers I Like stickers, and we're working on new stuff all the time. So moving forward, we're gonna make our little Drummers I Like swag packs as sweet as possible. And remember, catch me and Zach at Vans Warped Tour in Pomona, California on August 7th. We're gonna be hanging out, like I said, doing drum videos, talking to people, just running around having fun, because both of me and Zach are actually fathers of pretty young toddlers, so it's gonna be nice to get a little run around at Vans Warped Tour like
Toddlers, he's still in infant stage. I think his daughter's like 6 months old.
Sorry, Zach. Yeah, she's so freaking cute. Holy
As
God.
fathers, we all remember. I mean, Richard, of course, you still have your pretty young challenges you're dealing with. But as a father of a 9-year-old, I can remember both of the stages that both of you are in right now. So
yeah, let me just vouch here. You are a pretty darn good dad, because I don't think it was the first time, but for the most part, when I was in Florida a couple weeks ago or a month ago or so, for my son's birthday, Kevin actually came out with his daughter, and she is the freaking sweetest, cutest little thing ever. So high five to you, Kevin. You're a great dad. Same to you, Zach. Daughter's adorable. She looks like the happiest thing in the world. I'm just like freaking stoked for good dads. There's just not enough. So to know that my entire team is like some pretty sweet fathers just makes me know the inner circle is for real. So
That's right. That's an important task. So, and Richard does a good job too.
well, thank you.
Richard does a very good job. So,
But not to get off topic, let me just make sure everybody knows our handles. For Twitter and Instagram, it's @DrummersILike. For Facebook, it's facebook.com/DrummersILike. If you want to find us on YouTube, just go ahead and go to youtube.com/DrummersILike, or just search for us in the handle. If you need to find the podcast, it's drummersilike.com/podcast, or you can find it on the homepage. And, of course, Google+. Just go ahead and go to Google, type in Drummers I Like. Our Google Plus channel will pop up right away. I think that's about it. Remember, go review. Contest coming out. Send us your videos. We're popping our videos out. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Tyler. Thank you, Kevin. And good night.
Thank you, Richard. See you later, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thinking like a bumblebee with my 45 GLOC carbers. They hang in the hood where they rag. Thinking like a bumblebee with my 45 GLOC carbers. They hang in the hood where they rag. Thinking like a bumblebee with my 45 GLOC carbers. They hang in the hood where they rag. Thinking like a bumblebee with my 45 GLOC carbers. They hang in the hood where they rag. Thinking like a